our faith. We believe God has my son.
Tonight, a family distraught after the death of a 10-year-old following an ATV crash over the weekend. That rollover crash happening in Petersville this past weekend.
Yeah, Georgina Fernandez sat down with the child's mother, from whom you just heard, as she speaks on her son and making it through the first few days since losing him.
As parents, you take a lot of photos, each one capturing a second, a moment.
His laughter was just a big laugh. We would laugh just hearing him laugh.
Memories that Karen Hansen, how's it going?
It's okay. One day at a time.
Now holds deeply onto. As she remembers her baby boy, her 10-year-old son, Jaden, who died over the weekend during a side-by-side ATV rollover.
It's like a hole in your heart. It's missing. So, and you just go through your house and you see memories of your child and you don't know how to make that change. It's
memories from his unfinished zip line to the Legos in his room.
He used to tell me that when he grows up, he wants to get married and give all his Legos to his kids.
Her son's adventurous and creative personality, just part of what she says made up his gentle soul, along with a big heart.
He wanted to take care of mom, so his job was to take the trash out. He would take the trash out. When it get dark in winter, he would not allow me to be outside by myself.
A mama's boy energy, that was everything. You guys had a very sweet mother and son relationship, almost like two peas in a pod.
We do. From the moment he was born, he didn't cry. He was always happy. He was a clinger. He clinged to me a lot. He loved hugs, and that's the hard part, is not having those hugs anymore.
It's a grief, a mother's love.
One day at a time, one second, 1 minute at a time.
That has no timeline. As these photos hold on to a love.
Life is short.
That will live forever. Georgina Fernandez, Alaska's news source.
In Anchor Point tonight, weeks since a fisherman's family said the body of 62-year-old Ninilchik resident David Meyer had been recovered, the state medical examiner now says the same. According to Alaska State Troopers, the ME officially notified the agency that the remains found near Anchor Point on July 3rd were those of Meyer, who had been reported missing after heading out to go fishing on a kayak. That was on June 11th. And in Anchorage, a robbery suspect on the run for several weeks has been arrested by authorities. The Federal Bureau of Investigation says the man accused of a July 11th robbery of a Wells Fargo at the Fifth Avenue Mall was taken into custody over the weekend. Hector Hernandez now faces federal bank robbery charges. And if you have any additional information that you have not already shared with authorities, please reach out to the Anchorage FBI, 907-276-4441.
An increase in immigration arrests under the Trump administration has led to protests across the country. You likely saw coverage of those protests in Los Angeles this summer and here in Alaska, too, like this one at the Anchorage Correctional Complex in June. That's where 41 out-of-state ICE detainees were recently held and transferred after being there for 23 days due to overcrowding at federal ICE detention centers in the lower 48. But tonight's story isn't about arrests that happened this year. It's about people who've been working on their immigration status for some time. While attorneys, jail officials, and policymakers are still debating exactly what happened during those 23 days, we spoke to one of the detainees, an asylum seeker from Russia, who says the Anchorage jail is no place for people like him who enter the immigration system legally.
Эта футболка очень знаменательна, потому что я был.
This t-shirt says, "I'm proud, that makes me criminal in Russia."
Through a translator, Albert Komatov told me fleeing from his home country of Russia was a matter of life or death.
In our home country, Russia, homosexuality is effectively criminalized, and Albert is gay, and this was the reason for him to apply for political asylum here in the U.S.
Asylum, Albert told me, has been a long process. He says he waited in Mexico for a year to get an appointment with United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Once admitted legally to the U.S., he was held in ICE detention facilities while working through the appeals process. In Nevada, California, and Tacoma, Washington. All this before an unexpected Alaska detour.
They were brought to a bus and they went to an airport and then they saw a military airplane.
That was on June 8th, when jail officials told Alaska's news source in a statement Albert and the 40 other detainees initially arrived at the Anchorage Correctional Complex. Shortly after, immigration attorneys and advocates began raising the alarm after they say they heard statements like this.
Albert says that Alaska Anchorage Correctional Complex was his worst experience among all the other facilities he's been to in the U.S.
While Department of Corrections Commissioner Jen Winkleman declined to interview with Alaska's news source, in a statement, DOC communications staff said all individuals at the jail are treated the same under DOC policy, quote, regardless of the agency on whose behalf they are held.
What we saw was that they were held in punitive conditions.
ACLU of Alaska immigration attorney Cindy Woods says because civil immigration detainees have different legal rights and protections than people accused of or convicted of crimes, they need to be treated differently.
There was no distinction between the treatment of the civil detainees and the criminal pretrial or post-conviction detainees that were held at ACC.
They should not be treated as convicted criminals, because they're not.
Alaska House Judiciary Committee Chair Andrew Gray says that's why DOC leaders were questioned about overseeing ICE detainees in Alaska during a hearing this summer.
What potential liability would the state of Alaska have if, for some reason, we're not holding this population of people that we've never had before to the correct standard?
This is not the first time. ICE has always used prisons across the country in states. So this is nothing new.
During the 23 days the detainees were in custody, that's how the governor responded to questions. But during the hearing,
we don't have to jump through any special hoops. They determine whether we meet their standard.
Department of Corrections Commissioner Jen Winkleman said the circumstances of this hold were different. ICE asked the jail to hold these 41 detainees longer than the typical 72 hours for local ICE arrests, and did not inform the jail of how their current policies might impact national ICE standards for long-term holds. She responded to claims some had been shackled, pepper sprayed, and experienced delayed access to their attorneys. 23 days after arriving, all 41 ICE detainees were transferred back to Tacoma, Washington, including Albert. Not long after he was transferred, on June 26th, an appeals commission confirmed he was granted asylum protection from oppression in Russia. And it happened just in time for another milestone in Albert's journey.
This Pride Parade is the first one ever for Albert.
His long-awaited new life has arrived. I asked him to describe it to me in 3 words.
Это будет непросто.
He's nervous, but this is awesome, and it's going to be challenging.
Albert is now working to learn English and get settled in California. But challenges continue for others who spent time in the Anchorage jail in June. Tomorrow we'll hear from a detainee now being treated for tuberculosis. And the ACLU of Alaska confirms 3 of those detainees who spent time in the Anchorage jail chose to self-deport upon returning to Tacoma. One of them, in a handwritten letter released to Alaska's news source, wrote, quote, I requested deportation because I realized I would not be able to complete the process psychologically due to the pressure that ICE officers put on me, especially during the time I spent in prison, referring to Anchorage. And you can see my in-depth discussion about this on our streaming platforms. Part 2, again, of this series airs tomorrow night right here on Alaska's News Source.
All right, fascinating. Thank you very much, Augusta. Look forward to part 2. A mysterious floating sphere spotted high above Alaskans in South Central both last night again today. Chief meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us. Melissa, sounds like the mystery has been solved, though.
Yeah, John, I heard from several people today wondering what the balloon-like object was, and it was obvious. It wasn't something that we usually see in the sky. Hard to know exactly what it was, given that it was floating at around 60,000 feet. This is a zoomed-in view, but it was launched from J-Bear by Aerostar, an aerospace and defense company, last night. The balloon is a part of a defense exercise going on all month called Arctic Edge. It is led by NORAD and U.S. Northcom. They tell us the exercise is designed to improve readiness, demonstrate their capabilities, and enhance joint and allied force coordination in the Arctic. Interesting to see that over Anchorage. And this is what it looked like on the ground last night. They're sharing these images with us on the north side of J-Bear. You can see as they are inflating the clear balloon there. And this is what it looks like a little closer to the ground. You can see the full structure of it. Quite interesting what they are testing there. Clear blue skies to see it over Anchorage. Currently still sunny, 65 degrees, 70 in Palmer. Seeing those mid 70s in Fairbanks with a little bit of cloud cover building in. Some rain showers still holding on in Ketchikan tonight. One more night of that rain, low 60s. We're also seeing thunderstorms firing up around the interior, pushing into the Alaska range, and a red flag warning. This is for tomorrow for critical fire danger. Temperatures are warming, we're drying out, and wind is on the way. That wind coming from this next storm system pushing in from the west that will also bring rain and windy conditions to south central, but not for more than 24 hours. Tomorrow, we hold on to the sunshine and low 70s. You'll see those winds increasing in the second half of the day, gusting to near 45 miles per hour in Anchorage. Sunny, warm, dry in Fairbanks at 77, 72 in Juneau with that sunshine returning in Bethel. You'll see the rain, but not until the end of the day. Temperatures there still close to 70 degrees, and you'll see those breezy winds also gusting to near 30 miles per hour. That next storm system again gets to south central on Thursday. I'll let you know how long it sticks around. That full forecast here in a few minutes.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for filling us in on that big balloon, too.
Yeah,
questions.
Lots of questions about that.
Very good.
She's one of the top women's skaters to come out of Alaska.
And she is back in her home rinks this week, giving back to the children. Sports director Jordan Rodenberger joins us now with the details. Jordan?
Claire DeGeorge is a champion on multiple levels and is passing along her skills and knowledge to the youth skaters of her home state this week. DeGeorge, along with 7 other professional women's hockey players, hosting a 3-day camp at the Avis Alaska Sports Complex for skaters from ages 8 through 16, partnered with Strong Girls United, whose mission is to empower girls through sports. DeGeorge learning the game around the rinks of Alaska against primarily boys. She went on to become a NCAA champion at Ohio State and in the recently established Professional Women's Hockey League, unlocking opportunities and becoming the role model she didn't have growing up.
Being able to be out here for these young girls and show them that the women can do it is something very special to me, and I'm very proud to be Alaskan and show them that. And I cannot wait till there's one of these little girls playing in the league in a couple years.
Perfect. Good job, guys. Okay.
I was really excited to meet Claire because she's really amazing at hockey, and I was excited to meet some new people and some new coaches.
I feel like it gives girls in general more confidence to see that there's girls who can make it as far as they did. So it gives them a little confidence boost.
Exactly what she said.
And DeGeorge recently signed a deal with the Toronto Scepters of the Professional Women's Hockey League, which is set to drop the puck on its 3rd season as a league this winter.